Welcome everybody, please take your seats. We would like to officially begin today's agenda. I am pleased to welcome you to the Hungary Innovation Summit, where we will explore the cutting edge of innovation and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Mr. Hankó, distinguished Deputy State Secretary, respected President, and all our esteemed guests, welcome to the main hall, as we are about to explore different takes on innovation itself. Before we all start, 3 quick questions I would like to answer. The first one is, why are we actually here? The main goal of the Hungarian Innovation Agency is to catalyze the Hungarian innovation ecosystem. This is why the Hungary Innovation Summit is a pivotal event for fostering discussions around groundbreaking innovations in emerging technologies. Now, obviously, come the second question, how are we going to do this? Ladies and gentlemen, it is really important to highlight the fact that it's not just about the podium discussions, it's not just about the presentations that we are going to deliver, it's also about networking, it's also about your very own discussions and the questions that you are going to raise when you will have the chance. And finally, what are we going to do today? Today we will explore the profound impacts of R&D, AI, and bionics on society and industries, and look at the best practices, comparing European innovation strategies and practices. The day will feature keynotes, panels, and exciting discussions as we dive into the future of innovation and its economic and social impacts. You might have come for a single session, but we would like to encourage you to stay for the day and take full advantage of today's networking sessions, and let's build bridges between academia, business, and regulatory bodies. If everybody thinks that they are in their right mind, found their seats, and ready to do this, I'm just going to ask for one more nodding from our technical personality, the media team, and everybody. Thank you so much. It seems like we have a go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, please join me in welcoming Mr. Balázs Hankó, Minister of Culture and Innovation, to officially open the Hungary Innovation Summit and talk about the role of innovation in the future of Hungary. The floor is yours.
Good morning, and it's a privilege for me that I can open the Hungarian Innovation Summit. In my presentation, I would like to focus on the competitive turnaround in Europe. We all agree in Hungary, but in the recently published Draghi report, we also analyze and we can see that in Europe we need a competitive turnaround. And as President of EU, we really think that our model, our Hungarian model, would be a good answer for that. This is the Hungarian answer to a European challenge. Because in the last years, we renewed not just our innovation system, but also our higher education system and even the vocational training centers. That's what we call strategic partnership. Strategic partnership with, in a collaboration, universities, vocational training centers, also all the business stakeholders which we have in Hungary, in a focus, in an impact-driven focus. So the 3 key components of my lecture will be the European competitiveness challenge, what are the key results of the Hungarian model, focusing on innovation, and also what are the key elements of that Hungarian model. From productivity perspective, in 1995, US versus EU productivity gap was around 95%. And in the recent years, now it stands at 80%, which is a huge productivity gap between US and Europe. And even if we analyze it from the eastern part of the world, we can also see the similar movements of it. So that's a productivity side. What about the scientific output? What about the publications? And other important part of innovation and the science policy system. In the last decade, or a little bit more than a decade, we lost 7 to 8%. So from around, let me say, 25%, the output of the European publication and research output is just around a little more than 18%. And what is the Chinese or the Asian answer for that? An enormous increase from 21% to almost 32%. And there are innovation scoreboards, there are international rankings of universities, and there are similar movements on that. In the top 100 universities, we have more and more universities coming from this eastern part of the world. The third innovation indicator or marker of a system is that out of the 50 best tech companies, only 4 coming from EU. So there is a productivity gap. There is, I would say, also a publication or research output gap, and also the tech companies are coming from US and China and other part of the world. And what about the funds what we have in EU versus US or China? Only 5% of the funds raised in EU. We all know that this is because of that we don't have enough tech companies. It's because of that our innovation system is not most competitive one on the world. So, as it's shown in Draghi report, and as we know also from Letta report, there is a need for a European competitive turnaround. There is a need for that. There is an urgent need for that. What are the Hungarians' answers? What is the most important movement of the Hungarian innovation, the Hungarian ecosystem model? As I mentioned to you, there are so many indicators, there are so many indexes all over the world, even in the university world, even in the innovation world. What is important for us is, for example, the European Innovation Scoreboard. We have the 21st place on that, and we would like to, and we will be in the top 10 in the coming years till 2030. But if you analyze the Global Innovation Index, the position of Hungary is on the 35th place. But if we would cover the Nobel laureates per million, per Hungarian million as population index, we would be on the 11th place. And also, if you put the Olympic medals also on that slide, it would be per million around 13th place. And we are really proud of our young university students that out of the 19 Hungarian medals in the last Olympic Games in Paris, 16 were young university students coming from Hungarian universities. So innovation, universities, excellent Hungarian universities, and achievements in sports are in hand together. In the last 10 years, I would say between 2010 and 2022, we could double an R&I expenditure in a billion. And also, we could double the percentage rate on GDP ratio. We all know that we should be around 2 and till 2030 around 3%, but in such circumstances, we could double it in the last years, which means in Hungarian forint, the last year was around more than 1,000 billion Hungarian forint, exactly 1,042 billion Hungarian forint. And what we think was also very important, and as I mentioned to you, the strategic partnership between industry and research centers and universities are a key component of the Hungarian model. It was that in the last 10 years, we could more than double the researchers in the business sector, in the real life circumstances in our Hungarian industry system. We need young and talented PhD students. That's why we renewed our PhD system. And because of that, in the last 5 years, we also could double them, and 30% of them coming from foreign countries. So Hungary, such like a PhD innovation hub of Central Europe. But when we analyze Europe, we should be aware of that there is also a problem what we should solve in the coming years. This is fragmentation. So if you compare the newcomers, I would say those EU countries which entered the EU not more than 20 years ago, and compare it to those Western countries which have already members of EU, there is a huge fragmentation, a huge difference between these two country groups, because our countries has 10 times less horizon funds than the Western countries per population, and 2.5 less per researcher. And if you see it, if you analyze it, the fund, the percentage rate of our population, it's around in our countries 24 or more than 24%, and the total share of horizon funds around 8%. But we all know that if we want a more competitive Europe, we should reduce this innovation gap. So as I mentioned to you, one of our recommendations for the EU, this strategic partnership approach, universities, vocational training centers, industry working together. And the other is how to reduce this fragmentation gap, because it's absolutely relevant for Europe as a whole. Key elements of the Hungarian model. As I mentioned to you, we absolutely renewed the Hungarian university system. There is a debate between Brussels and the Hungarian government, but the outcomes of the Hungarian model are very promising. The second one, the innovation ecosystem, the new Hungarian innovation ecosystem. The third, the attractive FDI policy of Hungary. And in the coming years, we will absolutely renew the excellence-based funding and excellence-based research model of Hungary. That's why we have Ferenc Krausz Nobel laureates on the Hungarian science policy board. So, but what are the 5 pillars of the Hungarian model? We all know the importance of tax breaks, or the dedicated state funding for research, development, and innovation. We have an allocated research and innovation fund of it. And of course, as I mentioned, the FDI and the focused FDI policy of Hungary, and the strategic partnership of research centers, also universities and industry. And now we are focusing on 3+1 focus areas of Hungary, which are the following: of course, digital transformation, then I would say green transition, and also healthy living. And nowadays, these years, we should also have a security and a safety focus on all innovation activities. So there is a need, there is a huge need, an enormous need, a competitive turnaround in EU, and we think that our model, the Hungarian model, is a successful one. Thank you for your kind attention.